welcome to the show. You're watching Seeing the Unseen with Christopher LaPrath. My name's Kenan, his son and the producer of the show. Tonight, the title is Generous or Overgiver. There's some wonderful things to be said about that. First, quick announcement for anyone who's out there joining us. Say something in the chat. If you'd like a reading, it's $10 after the first time per card, or you can pay $100 for the entire month. That's one card per show, 3 times a week. Normally, Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Arizona time. So, thanks for listening. Enjoy the show. Here's Christopher.
Hey, great blessings to you all. Thank you so much for being here. John, Rochelle, Jeff, Lanny, Marilyn, Abby and Marilyn, Ashley and Tiffany, and for all of those who are watching, we won't know you're here. I won't be able to give you a reading unless you type something in the chat. So just say hello. Every show, I light the incense. This incense for tonight is for your own growth and your own healing. So, we had a great Friday night with Jeff. We got to go to the Phoenix Film Festival and soiree and meet some pretty amazing people. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that. That day, I had Jeff had invited me, and I knew that I had to go, but I didn't know why. So I checked into myself and going, is this, do I have the bandwidth to do that? And I think most of you know what I mean by bandwidth. Do I have the capacity to do a soiree? And I checked into it and I thought, yeah. And that's being generous, okay? Because I knew that I was going to go there and there was going to be somebody that I could possibly help. But also, maybe somebody would be able to help me, right? That's really the true generosity. Because when you're an overgiver, I wanted to share some information with you to see if any of this rings true. The overgiving tends to come not from just generosity, but from hidden need. The hidden need it's hidden from ourselves. We don't see it, okay? It's an energetic transaction where we expect a return, even if it's just praise or appreciation or to stop feeling guilty. So if any of you have had a religious upbringing, I'm only going to speak for myself. I was a missionary, and there was constant feeling of guilt. And I didn't realize this until years later, that I was overgiving, I was overextending, not just financially in trying to help other people, but energetically. Like I just didn't have the bandwidth at all. But I would still go, and I would get really, really fried. So, and when we give too much, we feel depleted and not energized. We might even feel annoyed at ourselves and with other people, and not really even catch on as to why that is. So what this is Seeing the Unseen. This show's about seeing the unseen. Yes, it's talking about spirits, the other side, but it's also about energies and to be aware of energies. So when we overgive, it could be any one of these or a combination of these, hoping for a return on what we give, waiting to be appreciated or loved, feeling good about ourselves, wanting to be seen as a stronger, smarter, wiser person. Or some people think nobody else is capable. So we have to do something. We have to be there. We have to go to this event. Or believe that if we do something, it's going to ease that feeling of guilt. Now, this is all unconscious. I'm not saying that people do it consciously. Maybe some do. But this is all about the unconscious. And so when I lit this incense, this is about your own growth and your own healing and knowing exactly how special you are. So the group card tonight, it's Sanctuary. If you feel like staying home, maybe stay home. Take a break. That's what this card is about. And it's about frequencies coming in that are changing your life. They'll purge and reformat old patterns, and you'll notice them. And you'll be noticing where you're surprisingly saying no to where before you would say yes, 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 go to an event, do something for another person when you really didn't have the bandwidth and you were doing more harm to yourself than you were actually helping them. So, and that's really, when I look back, a lot of times is what my mother did. So, and sometimes it comes, this is all subconscious stuff. So when my mother, she was maybe 12. She had a sister that was 13, 14, and 15. And then she had another one that was just a year younger than her. Anyway, they had a little sister who was about 3 years old. And this was a family secret up until my mom passed. So they lived in Nebraska. They were very, very poor. And the girls, the older girls, wanted to go out behind the barn and smoke. And so their little sister always wanted to tag along. And so they, just being girls, they just locked her in the shed just until they were finished smoking and they'd come back because they didn't want to be told on by a 3-year-old. Anyway, Lois ended up drinking kerosene and passing away. So, because she got real thirsty. And I talk about this. But anyway, so my mother had this guilt. And so she was always very, very generous to people. And everyone loved her for it. But it was like, it became for her like a, I don't know, just like an endless vacuum. So anywhere where any one of us have been or have a belief system or a subconscious belief system around overgiving, are you willing to release, clear, destroy, and uncreate all of that right now? That's what I wanted to talk about. And that's really what this card is about creating this sanctuary for yourself. And it's healing. It's actually true comfort. And then it's true restoration, really true restoration. That's what this show is about. So thank you all so much for being here. Okay, John, you're the first on tonight. It's the Eon. It's starting over. Anytime that there's a starting over, with the Eon card. So what I'm seeing here, I know, John, we just talked on the phone before the show. This is the so this is a spirit. This is a guide, an angel, whatever you want to call them. So this very close friend that passed with you, John, we talked about this. So if you don't, I hope you don't mind me sharing it on the show, because I think everyone pretty much on the show has lost someone. When we are thinking about that person and we start grieving or missing them severely, they're around us. And when they're around us, we interpret it as our own feelings and emotions. And so we start thinking about that person and get really distraught or upset or sad. So this is what I shared with you in my experience is when that person and you start thinking about them, use the energy that you would have used for being sad or crying or being upset and missing them to, oh, they're here. And focus on the message that they're trying to tell you. This is the Eon card. It's like a new beginning. It's even them elaborating on what it's like for them on the other side. They're wanting to, describe or communicate with you, but because emotions get in the way, people aren't open to the communication. And they're misinterpreting that energy that they're feeling. Am I making sense? Am I making sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. It's the communication that they're trying to communicate. So quiet the mind. I don't know, John, how long it was. I can't remember how long after your father died that he came back and repaired the ice machine. If you could remind us. So if any of you on the show don't know what we're talking about, John's father passed away and his refrigerator didn't work right. And John was staying in his parents' house after they passed. So his father came, and it seemed like several months after he'd passed.
It was a week.
It was a week.
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
It was a week after he passed. Okay. So there was an ice maker, and correct me if I'm wrong, that wasn't working. And you were hearing noises in the kitchen. And literally, you and I have talked about this, we've laughed about this, about your dad coming back and repairing this ice machine. That was his way of communicating that he was okay, that he can still take care of things. So it's with your friend that's passed, this Matt. I want to give him a shout out. You loved him dearly, and he's talking about. I don't know if this makes any sense, but he's talking about his hair, and he finally has better hair than you. Take it or leave it. Okay. All right. All right, Rochelle. Ooh, Rochelle. Priestess. Getting it done. Just getting it done. One of my favorite movies is called Always. It was a Steven Spielberg movie. It was with Holly Hunter, Richard Dreyfuss. I really recommend every one of you to watch this movie. It was filmed actually in my hometown of Libby, Montana. So, Lana, you know where Libby is. Anyway, it's Richard Dreyfuss dies, and he's this spirit, and his job is to train other pilots, and he's directing them. Like, if you watch the movie, he's like whispering in their ear as to what to do, what to push in the plane, when to pull up, he's directing them. This is Rochelle, and the pilot is unaware. Obviously, the pilot's unaware of Richard Dreyfuss's ghost, but they're scared, they're nervous, especially like on their solo flights, but they're guided, like, and you really get that feeling, and then a certain confidence takes over with the pilot because Richard Dreyfuss is just coaching them. So my point here, Rochelle, is you're being coached. That's that angel or that spirit, that guide, that is their job. That's their duty, to guide and direct you. And so they're lifting the veil, so to speak, for you more and more and more, and not get caught up in people's behaviors. So I'll give you an example. So tonight, just before the show, I'd sent out to some of you, I send out occasionally these funny videos. And one of them it had something to do with a soul contract. And it was Sheldon from, what's the name of that show?
Big Bang Theory.
The Big Bang Theory. So it was the show used to be on television called Big Bang Theory. Sheldon's this geeky, super intelligent guy. And the video that I sent out to some of you, and some of you replied back, ha ha ha, is he's going through this contract. And the title of it is, what do I do with the soul contract? Or, why is my soul contract? And he's like, why? And he's reading this contract. Why? And he's really flipping the page and going, why? And flipping another page going, why? And then he flips like 4 pages and he goes, oh, that's why. We don't always understand why we're going through what we're going through. But eventually, it becomes clear. So that's the veil being lifted for you. All right, Jeff. Thanks for a great weekend, man. Friday night, we had a great time. I really, 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 I love hanging out with you. It's really great. Ace of Cups. So, Jeff, this is money. But it's not just money, it's fulfillment. So I made a huge mistake this weekend. I read this article that said, hey, coconut milk's really good for you. And so I added it to my coffee. Not coconut water, coconut milk. And about 3 hours later, I thought I was going to die. And I looked it up. And it wasn't that I was allergic to it, but some people's digestive system, it just doesn't sit well. And so I'd only taken maybe a couple sips of the coffee. And then I threw it away. Now I could have bemoaned, well, that was an expensive cup of coffee. Coconut cream is expensive, blah, 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 blah. I didn't. I just threw it out. This is things falling away that don't serve you anymore. People, but there's something major coming in, and you're tuning into vibrations better. So when I look at this spider web, a spider builds this intricate web, and they know the difference between the wind hitting the web and a bug hitting the web. And when a bug hits the web, they are there. This is you taking advantage of this opportunity and things working out beautifully for you. But it's also letting go of what no longer serves you. This is awards, like trophies, recognition, even coming in. Okay. All right, my dear Lanny. So this card, Lana, is what we had a conversation about a couple days ago. It's the Death card. It's your ability to get down to the bone. I had a friend, we would go out to eat, and he would, if he ordered chicken, he would spend like 20 minutes on a chicken bone. I mean, there would be absolutely no meat on the chicken bone, because he was raised with 6 brothers and sisters, and they would only share one chicken. And for 6 hungry kids, one chicken did not go very far. So the piece that they got, they had to make the best of. So for those of you on the show, Lana and I were talking the other day, and I said, Lana, you need to get some new business cards without the realtor on them, but put spiritual detective. It's like you getting down to the bones of this mystery. And in a way, in doing it, you're honoring those that have passed in this house. Now, I know all of you are probably more curious than ever, and if Lana gives me permission on Showman tomorrow night, I can share more of that. But this is you getting down to, and they're extremely grateful. I will tell you this: they're extremely grateful for you picking the bones clean, so to speak, in this case. And you're right. Trust your gut. Absolutely trust your gut. They're just, all I can tell you is there's huge appreciation here for you in doing this from these people that have passed. Huge appreciation. And bringing that Christ consciousness into that house, huge. Really, really huge. Thank you. They're thanking you. Okay, we'll talk more. And if you give me permission, I can tell everyone a little bit more tomorrow night or Wednesday night about what you've been through, or maybe we can even interview you. I don't know. We'll talk about it, because it's such a fascinating story. But I really want to get your permission before. I didn't think this would be coming up tonight, but because I wasn't sure you were going to be on the show. But I think it's really important for everyone to hear this story. It's an incredible story. All right, my dear Marilyn, you're in 930 Carolina. Okay. Okay, so Marilyn, do your best to keep a notebook by your bed with your dreams. Even if you only wake up and you remember one thing from your dream, look it up. What does that mean? I don't care how bizarre it looks or feels or sounds. Look up the meaning. And if it's a challenging dream or if it's a nightmare, go back in, please change it. Imagine how you would want that dream to come out. You still lay in bed, but close your eyes, go back into the dream and change the energy of it, change the vibration of it. So if something isn't suiting you, go, universe, what is happening here? What is important about this right now? Okay? Show me the meaning behind this dream. And I'm not just talking about the dreams you have at night. I'm talking about the things that happen to you during the day. Any type of pains that you may be having, any type of unusual activity. So I'll give you an example. I will tell this part of Lana. I'm going to jump back up to Lana and give you an example, Marilyn. So Lana, I won't go into the details of this house, but at the same time that Lana had this experience with this house where two people passed, a robin was hitting her bedroom window in the morning, hitting it, hitting it, hitting it, hitting it. And she even went out to the yard and said, "Hey, Robin, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to kill yourself if you keep doing that. Stop it." She went back in a few minutes later, hit it, hit it. And then in the evening, it would start hitting her living room window. Well, she looked it up. She actually looked it up. What does it mean if a bird repeatedly hitting your window? And when she looked it up, it had to do with urgency. So she knew that there was an urgency with this particular case in this house that the county had asked her to work on. So that prompted her to know she wasn't crazy. And then she began to really trust her gut. It's an amazing, Lana, we need to write a book just on this story. Okay. So my point, Marilyn, is telling you this, is that look up things or meditate or study or look at what's happening right now and how can you change the vibration around it. All right, my dear Abby and Marilyn. Okay, Marilyn, speak up. I now always and forever release the fear of offending others. I now always and forever release the fear of offending others. This is important for you. So I want to go back and tell you this story that I sent this joke out about the soul contract to people. And I meant it is it's just something kind of funny, light, right? And the story of it is that sometimes you don't know why you're going through the things you're going through, but you do find out later. Or you look at the lessons that you've been through, right, Marilyn? And you can look back on it and go, oh, these are the lessons I got. Well, this one woman, she texted me a paragraph on the Bible doesn't teach soul contracts. the Lord blah blah this, the Lord blah blah that. And I was like, what is happening here? Like, it was extremely judgmental. And I just typed her, said, well, thank you so much for sharing, but this was a joke. Like, I meant it to help you have a little more levity in your life. And she texted back, oh, I thought you were serious. So my point of telling you this is, you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person. They're going to interpret it, but be free of it limiting your voice. Speak up. And you know what? Some people need to be offended. Some people need to hear the truth. And they'll remember it years later. That had happened with Kenan the other night. We ran into one of his old friends from years ago, right? Do you want to hop on and tell that about Nathaniel?
Sure. There we are. So, this was Friday night, right? Now, interesting event, but it was nice to see some old friends, and really, namely, my dear, dear friend, Nathaniel Burns, right? And he, just getting to see him in that context, reminded me a lot about myself and how far I've come and how much I have to be grateful for. And
What did he tell you that you remember that you took away years later?
oh, simple. Simple instructions. 2 words, feel better. And the reason why the man is so near and dear to my heart is because he said those words when I was going through a very difficult time. So while we might not be able to, pull someone out directly, sometimes a word of comfort can make all the difference in the world.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. So my point, Marilyn, is we don't feel sometimes when we say things to people that it meant anything. But 15 years later, or how many ever years later, Kenan remembered those 2 words that this guy told him, feel better. And they sound really simple to us. But to Kenan at that time, it was a lifesaver. So, Marilyn, you is kind, and you is smart, and you is important. All right, my dear Abby. Can we put the list back up? Okay. You're done with overgiving. Do you feel, and Marilyn can help you with this, Abby, but do you feel absolutely rewarded for the work that you do? For instance, let's just break it down to the wreaths that you make, the time and the effort, the materials, everything that you put into them. Do you feel like you're being compensated down to your core? Do you feel it's fair for you? Because you're coming to a completion of that old thinking of overgiving. in any way, shape, or form. And yes, you are generous, but not to the. Are you willing to let go of? I'm always and forever free of the need to overgive. Let's just simply every one of us embrace that. How about that? I'm always and forever free of the need or the learning to overgive. So there's something here with okay, think about this. Think about. So I read years ago. I read read for this husband and wife. They lost their dog, and I didn't know that, but the dog actually came through in the reading. This dog was like, I don't know. It definitely had some messages, and wanted to let them know. Well, I ended up having an artist friend of mine do a painting of the dog for the gentleman because he really, really loved this dog. I know this sounds so weird, Abby, but these animals that have passed are coming through. And what if you did wreaths honoring the dogs of the households? Or I don't know how you would do this, but there's something about adding a picture of the family's dog or something that's really profound. I don't know if you add, I don't know. But there's something with that where you're honoring the animals. So I don't know if it's raising your prices and then giving the proceeds to an animal shelter. It could be that. But it's something to deal with this. It's thinking bigger. Yeah. It's thinking bigger. Because you've been so generous for animals and to animals. Well, both you and Marilyn have. All right, my dear Ashley. This is really, Abby, we'll have to talk. This is really, there's something opening up here.
She says she got one of her customers got a picture of her dog and made a wreath with the dog in the center.
Oh, wait a minute. When was this, Abby? You did that for one of your customers. You got a picture of her dog and made a wreath with him in the center. That's what I'm seeing. I swear to God, this dog is coming through and showing me this. This is the most, okay. All right, Abby, you just bumped up to one of the strangest readings I've read on this show. Because I actually saw that. This dog is, that's why I was telling you about Dozer, this other dog that I read for, or that came through in the reading. That's what this is. This dog is coming through in appreciation. He's like, look at me. I was some hot stuff. Oh my God, this is hilarious. I love this. I absolutely love this. About a year ago. Yeah. Thank you. But so what I would suggest is in marketing, like take pictures of those wreaths, those specialized wreaths, and have them when you go to shows on your Etsy or on your Facebook, post those pictures, please. And I really think that this is going to become bigger than just you. And are you open to like even hiring some friends and family to help you with this? It's big, but it's healing. There's something with it that's really powerful. All right, my dear Ashley. Okay, so Ashley, this is satiety. This is like it can be filled or purposeful, or it can be overwhelmed. This is you getting rid of things you don't really love doing anymore. And then that'll give you more energy with moving into things you actually really love doing and ramping it up. And are you willing to pull back that overgiving? Or are you willing to let go of that being free of the need of overgiving? Or the belief system that if you charge too much, people won't buy it. Because they can sense the fear of that. And then even the prices you do have on your things, people sense the fear around that. So again, I'm going to kind of go back to Abby, but not really with Abby, but it's kind of a little bit of the same, where charge your worth, and more will be coming to you. But this is also sorting out what isn't working for you and being a really much harsher businesswoman. Like, no. So that's what's coming in for you is much more of a understanding, or not harsh, savvy. Oh, that's it. A savvy businesswoman to go, hey, this is not making me money. This is not selling. I'm done making this. And then it opens you up to create something brand new that just brings in this new, clean, fantastic energy that people will really love. Okay, my dear Tiffany. So Tiffany, get some peacock feathers. You know what? Just have them like in a vase, or you can put them on the wall, and then look up the meaning, the spiritual meaning of peacock feathers. Can you do that real quick? Yeah. And Abby, you said, what's funny is you weren't asked to do it, but you were called to do it. Yeah. So I feel like you're getting more of that. So with you, Tiffany, this is peacock feathers. Ken's going to look that up for you. In India, they're used in ceremonies and worship services. So protection by a spirit, an angel, or someone in your life who cares about you. A reminder to try and transform negativity in your life into positive energy. It's a symbol of pride in a good way. Wealth, beauty, and strength. Wow. I wonder who that is, Tiff. You are so dear. There are no failures, Tiffany. There are no failures. There's only learning. You chose the doctoral program. You're a doctor. But you chose the doctoral program when you came to this earth. I believe everybody on the show did. And you're doing it. Like you've been through the hardest test, if we want to call it, or the hardest that anyone's ever been through. And so look at your winnings. Look at what you've accomplished. Huge. And again, I'm going to go back to Rochelle. Rochelle's card was being guided by spirit when I was talking a little bit, Tiffany, about that movie Always. this is these relationships that we have, not just with people, but with spirit, with these angels, with these guides. And that's going to be growing more and more. But get yourself some peacock feathers. I don't know why that's important. So, all right, Kat and Jared, thanks for being here. So, Jared, I hope you have yeah, I hope you've blessed your workplace. Jared, call me on this one. All right. This or something better. Universe, this or something better. So when you're thinking about expanding your office, your clinic, all of this, this or something better. What if the universe has, I've told you this on the show before, where your child wants a My Little Pony, and you give him a real pony. It's that kind of thinking. This is you moving out of any limited thinking or any childlike thinking about how things should be or need to be, and think bigger. What if this is showing you something bigger, something more? Something more is coming, but it's cleaning your office. I almost get this feeling like it's almost like a new location that the feelings around this office might be something. You know what? Let me call you on this. I need more time with this. All right, my dear Kat. Peace. Quiet the mind, Kat. Quiet the mind. 15 minutes, please. Do your best to do 15 minutes of just quiet meditation by yourself, just quieting the mind. Listen to music. You can put on some meditative music on YouTube. Just close your eyes, quiet the mind. Or distract the mind. So there's two things you can do. Is meditate. That's number one. Or distract the mind. So go take a walk, go take up knitting, watch a television program, just to get yourself out of the thoughts and create this peace. There's much greater peace coming. Tomorrow morning, there's more peace coming in. Allow more peace and trust. There's something bigger coming. I can tell that from this card here with the indolence card with Jared. There's something, okay, it's like this, Kat. Growing up, we had these, I don't know, we had these small coffee cups, we had these small teacups. And then when these giant mugs came, it was like, oh my God, why didn't I get these giant mugs before? Because it holds more. This is moving from a small cup to bigger cup and holding more than you could possibly imagine. you're moving into that. So universe, show me the big cups now. What aisle the big cups are in. Okay? All right. All right, Ashley, my dear. Oh, Ash. Hallelujah. Got the sun card, girl. This is fantastic. The sun card. This is Annie. This is the sun will come up tomorrow. This is things really working out for you. Making hay while the sun shines. This is going to be a fantastic spring and summer for you. Really great. Really good. And then it's you revamping that trip to the Caribbean. Hey, John. Dottie. Oh my gosh. Dottie, I've heard so much about you. Thank you for being here. Dottie, everyone, is John's friend, so everybody welcome Dottie. I'm so glad you were on the show tonight. John's talked about you for years. So Dottie, this is you moving into more of your art. I don't know if it's like art collecting. And you know, art doesn't, you know, people when they say art, oh, I have to start buying paintings. I'm like talking like collecting things you love, like shoes, or it's having more time for your creativity. Like this is your time now, Dottie, to really move in. It's actually happening already. You're moving more into being more creative. You know, Jeff on the show is a producer, movie producer, show producer. It's that type of an art. It's like whatever your canvas is, you're going to be doing more of it. Also, you've got this motherly energy around you. You know, it's that feeling of just being taken care of. You're moving into allowing others to help you and to move into a period of being taken care of. Yeah, it's a wonderful feeling. Okay, we got everybody on the show. Thank you all so much. We'll do this again tomorrow night. Love you all. Have a great evening.